What?
What?
What's that, Tom?
Okay.
Well, that's an evening in 2014 when I accompanied Michael Massaia to his place that he spent loads of time with over the last 15 years. He hung out at the Waldorf, and many people know that our artist Michael Massaia is an insomniac, so he spent a lot of time, hundreds of hours in the Waldorf, and that was me taking a picture of Michael from the balcony. After we took those shots and finished that, Michael said, Tom, don't post those pictures anywhere. Don't let them out, because he didn't want someone to potentially give him a problem for being a vagrant in the Waldorf. But so Michael, over the course of about 15 years, has taken all these incredible photographs in the Waldorf Astoria. And that night in New York was one of the best nights I ever had in the city, because Michael knew everything about the Waldorf. This photo here was taken that night that I went in with Michael and Felipe, and we accompanied him. These doors, when you see the actual photograph, as you got to remember with all photographs that are realized in analog format, when you see them digitally, they really don't give you the full impact of seeing these. When you see that photograph, those doors look brass. That is a piece of paper, folks, but they look brass on the piece of paper. Next one, John. That's another one that's quite amazing. That's a stairwell in the Waldorf. All these Art Deco items, all this beautiful interior scenery has all been kind of taken apart, taken away. They took all the Art Deco details, or many of them, and transported them to a mall in upstate New York that was empty, and they auctioned all these things off. The Waldorf in 2017 was sold to a Chinese company that then went bankrupt, and it was bought by another Chinese company. And now I think they're getting close to selling the condos that are being offered there. I think they started around 5 million and go up from there. But it's still called the Waldorf Astoria, but it doesn't have the thousands of hotel rooms. It's got a few hundred hotel rooms now, and mostly it's condominiums. So this is part of history. Speaking of things that you record for posterity, these photographs are magnificent representations of something that you can no longer see, and which are indeed magnificent. Next one, John. This is the Silver Corridor, and Michael has used hand toning techniques. So you'll notice that the bottom is more of a neutral color and it goes into the warm tone in the ceiling. That's all delicately hand painted with a very thin brush. Again, like many people have heard me say before, there's hundreds of hours in each one of these Michael Massaia photographs that you can see in the gallery. I think this is a really important show. It's called Endings, and it's kind of a lament for all the things in our lives that we used to be able to count on, and they're no longer there, or they don't work that way anymore, or you have to sign 50 pages of small print in order to authorize something. So this is Michael's kind of poem to things that we used to love that we no longer have available to us. This is a coat check. This is the red coat check. This was taken that night that we were with Michael as well. Next one, John. This is an evening. This is a film that they screened. It's called A Weekend at the Waldorf. And this particular one, actually, when you see the photograph, the curtains have been tinted a warm tone color when you see the print in the store. So, and that chandelier is a reflection. So it gives it a very ethereal air. But that's actually a movie, Weekend at the Waldorf, that you can actually see on those classic movie channels. Next one, John. Cole Porter was one of the longtime residents. When you when the Waldorf was built in 31, 32, they were, frequented by, and they had some notable people who had residences there. They were many palatial suites that, and Cole Porter actually, when he was in New York, lived in the Waldorf, and he actually passed away there. So that's Cole Porter's piano. That's an amazing photograph. That's you'll notice that this particular photograph is a much more soft focus version. There's another separate portfolio. This was done with a smaller format camera back in when Michael first started to photograph there, when he didn't feel that he could get away with actually bringing his view camera there. So this is with a Contax 645 camera. This is another one from that portfolio of the soft focus. He took a filter and actually used sandpaper to make his own diffusion filter. And this is kind of one for the ages. This is laptop and newspaper. You've got one gentleman who's illuminated by the computer screen. He's on the computer, and then you have the other gentleman under the lamp there that is reading the newspaper. Another soft focus from the soft focus one, Waldorf Nights. They had all these vitrines that had beautiful. That's a Oscar de la Renta gown. They had these vitrines that had all this beautiful merchandise that was available for sale. And another view of the interior of the Waldorf. This is from Grand Central Station. This is a different portfolio. Michael was permitted. This is one of the few portfolios that he actually got permission for. At some point in the early morning hours, they actually do close the Grand Central for cleaning, and Michael got permission to photograph there. This one's called Last Ticket Window. The illuminated light there sees a gentleman working at his desk, and I love the counterpoint of the man in the background at the extreme left there that balances the photo. This has been very popular with people. This is another one. This is the Whisper Room at Grand Central. This is an amazing photograph that we have that's in my office. It's a bigger one. It's a 30 by 40. And as you know, those of you that have heard me pontificate about Michael, these are all contact prints. So there's a negative the same size that the picture is. Next one, John. This is from Deep in a Dream 2. This is a very interesting photograph because this is a composite photograph with two negatives. There's one negative that is everything except for the face of the clock. And excuse me, the clock was actually, this is part of one of the art projects that they have in Central Park that they change from time to time. So that clock face was spinning around, as were the hands. So Michael needed a fast shutter speed in order to be able to freeze that, but he needed a long exposure for everything else. So that is a composite using two negatives to print that picture. That's from Deep in a Dream. This is this is from the Drop the Sun portfolio. This is another one of Michael's attempts to, kind of do something different. He went into Manhattan 14 different times in a row, 14 different days in a row to get this photograph. All right, he didn't get what he wanted the first time. He'd go home, develop the film. It didn't come out the way he wanted, so he'd go back the next day and try and shoot it again. Next one, John. Oh, there we go. And I guess,
All right, so Tom, I had a quick question, and
Good.
certainly when you see these in real life, the richness and the tonality of it all comes out from his multiple process steps that he uses. So definitely come out to the store Monday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Have a look at this. It's well worth your time, and I'm sure Tom can say a lot more about this. And we will do this in a upcoming session. Tom, what's your thoughts, final thoughts on this?
no, I
particular
just, this
show?
is a show that is worthy of the Metropolitan Museum of Art. So really, just like people make pilgrimages into the various museums for various shows, don't neglect this. Give it some time. Like all the best art that's created in any medium, it continues to unfold the more you look at it. It is not something you look at once like you scroll on a phone. You spend time with this, and this rewards you with more information for your eye. It's staggering. I consider Michael to be certainly the greatest artist of the 21st century, and I put him in with the greatest artists of all time. And we have him in our midst, and he deserves more appreciation